What if I told you the most important contract in Edmonton Oilers history hasn't been signed yet, and the man holding the pen could either save this franchise or shatter it? Connor McDavid. 5 Ted Lindsay Awards. A generational talent that comes around once every few decades. And right now, every Oilers fan is holding their breath asking the same question. Is he staying? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's happening behind closed doors in Edmonton. And trust me, the details matter more than you think. Because this isn't just about one contract. This is about the entire direction of a franchise and the future of hockey in Edmonton. Let's be real for a second. When you build a franchise around one player, and I mean truly build everything around him, his future is your future. There's no plan B. There's no we'll figure it out. Connor McDavid leaving Edmonton would be the sports equivalent of pulling the foundation out from under a skyscraper. The whole thing comes down. The rebuild would take years, maybe a decade. And the fan base? They'd never fully recover from it. So when insider Bob Stauffer, the host of Oilers Now and one of the most plugged-in voices covering this team, goes on Sportsnet's Fan 590 and says he expects McDavid to sign a 7-year extension, people listen. And they should. Because Stauffer doesn't throw words around carelessly. When he speaks about this organization, there's usually smoke and fire. He's not a guy who speculates just to fill airtime. When Stauffer says something, it's because he's heard something. And what he's heard should give every Oilers fan a reason to breathe just a little easier tonight. Here's what Stauffer laid out, and pay attention to the specifics here because they tell a bigger story. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, that nobody is more committed to Edmonton than Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Nobody. Not a qualifier, not a hesitation. He said it with conviction. And then he dropped the number, 7 years. The maximum term allowed under the current CBA structure. Think about what that means. McDavid wouldn't just be signing a contract. He'd be planting a flag. He'd be saying, Edmonton is where I want to win. Edmonton is where I want my legacy to live. Edmonton is where I want to be remembered. Now McDavid is already locked in on a 2-year extension worth $12.5 million per year that kicks in next season. So a 7-year deal after that? We're potentially talking about McDavid in an Oilers jersey well into his mid-30s. That's a dynasty window. That's a chance at multiple cups. That's everything this fan base has been dreaming about since the day he was drafted first overall back in 2015. But here's where it gets complicated. Right as this McDavid extension talk is heating up, Edmonton drops another bombshell. Mike Babcock is expected to be named the next head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. Now, if you know hockey, you know that name carries weight. And not all of it is comfortable. Babcock hasn't coached an NHL game since the Toronto Maple Leafs fired him in 2019. He briefly stepped into the Columbus Blue Jackets organization and then walked away before coaching a single game, following serious allegations that he made younger players deeply uncomfortable by going through their personal phones. That's not a small thing. That's a trust issue. That's a locker room issue. And in a league where the relationship between a coach and his star players can make or break a season, bringing in someone with that kind of baggage is a bold, some would say risky move. So the real question isn't just can Babcock coach, because his resume says he absolutely can. The question is, how does Connor McDavid feel about this? And more importantly, did he have any say in the matter? And here's where Stauffer's comments become even more interesting. Stauffer revealed that Edmonton's leadership group, and yes, that almost certainly includes McDavid, was part of the conversations around the coaching hire. He said, you empower players, you get them involved, that's the way of the future. That's not a throwaway line. That is a deliberate message being sent to the fan base and to the hockey world. Edmonton isn't hiding McDavid in a corner while executives make decisions above his head. They're bringing him to the table. They're showing him respect. They're saying, this organization moves with you, not around you. And if that's true, if McDavid genuinely had a voice in the Babcock decision, then his willingness to sign that 7-year extension starts to make a whole lot more sense. Because players don't commit long-term to organizations that don't respect them. They just don't. We've seen it happen across professional sports over and over again. The moment a superstar feels like a commodity instead of a cornerstone, the clock starts ticking. Edmonton clearly understands that, and they're doing everything they can to make sure McDavid never feels that way. Let me give you 3 reasons, beyond just the money, why McDavid locking in long-term is the logical move. 1. Legacy. McDavid has spent his entire career rewriting offensive records in Edmonton. Leaving now means starting over somewhere else, rebuilding chemistry, adapting to a new system. He's already the greatest player in this team's history. Staying means owning that completely. It means his name is synonymous with this city forever. 2. Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl is right there alongside him. That partnership is rare. That's not something you just walk away from. When Stauffer mentioned both names in the same breath about commitment, it wasn't accidental. Those 2 players push each other. They elevate each other. Breaking that up would be one of the most costly decisions McDavid could make for his own career. 3. Unfinished business. The Oilers came agonizingly close to winning the Stanley Cup recently. That hunger doesn't disappear. If anything, it grows. McDavid knows what it feels like to be one step away, and he wants to finish the job in the city where he started it. Not somewhere else. Not with a different group. Here. With these guys. So here's where things stand right now. The Oilers are finalizing Babcock's appointment pending clearance through the NHL Players Association, which, given his history, is a process that deserves to be taken seriously. McDavid's current extension bridge deal kicks in next season. And at some point, likely sooner rather than later, there will be a press conference. There will be a handshake. And Connor McDavid will either confirm everything Stauffer is predicting, or he won't. But based on everything we're hearing from inside the organization, the confidence is real. The commitment appears to be genuine. And Edmonton is betting its future on the belief that their captain isn't going anywhere. Here's my take. The smartest thing the Oilers have done isn't just hoping McDavid stays. It's making him feel like this is his organization to lead, involving him in coaching decisions, building around him and Draisaitl together, treating him like a partner, not just a player. That's how you keep a generational talent. Not with money alone, but with respect, with trust, with the kind of culture that makes a superstar look around and think, I don't want to be anywhere else. If this extension gets done, Edmonton becomes one of the most dangerous teams in the league for the next decade. Core locked in, a coach with championship pedigree, and a captain who chose to stay when he didn't have to. And if it doesn't, well, that's a video for another day. Drop a comment below. Do you think McDavid signs the 7-year deal? Let me know.